Hi, Professor. I'm Sasha Gomez.
I'm Ron Bronner.
I'm Tia Mbana.
I'm Chris Kramer.
We're going to go ahead and read the scenario that you provided to us, and then Ron is going to talk about the legal ramifications, and Chioma and Christopher will both talk about the ethical aspect of everything, and I'll fill in with the ethics part. It reads, you have been working with a client who is HIV positive and is a regular user of heroin. He needs both medical and substance abuse treatment. However, he is inconsistent about coming for regular treatment and medical care. You suspect he is not taking the medications prescribed for him. In addition, he is sexually active with several women. He has asked that you not contact him at his home where he lives with one of his girlfriends. He has stipulated that no family members may have any information about him. You think that if you can commit him to a substance abuse treatment facility, he would be out of circulation sexually and receive the treatments he needs to save his life. You do not know for sure where he is, but know his girlfriend with whom he has been living probably does. Can you contact her? What are the ethical and legal principles at play here? What do you decide to do or not to do?
Okay, so the first main ethical point or legal point, it should say, is that we do not have a release of information, which is an ROI, for either the family or the girlfriend. So we are in a major pickle, as Sasha puts it. So, the only thing that we can do is contact him via phone, and he only occasionally comes to, the actual therapy appointments. So like I said, the only thing we can do is to also, since we know that he's sleeping with other people and he has HIV, we can possibly do that. Have the police do a well check on him, and kind of go from there.
Okay, so for ethical reasons, by law, it does state that if he is in danger to other people, we could contact the police because he is in danger of other people, giving them HIV, because he knowingly has HIV and pass it around to other people.
Yeah, I think one of the big ethical concerns here is if we should break the confidentiality even without a ROI or consent in order to protect the larger population or other people that could be impacted by this. Mm-hmm. I think that the fact that it mentions him possibly getting into treatment might be relevant or worth looking at. Maybe there's some sort of intervention that we could attempt with him prior to breaching this confidentiality. But those are just some of the questions that this scenario kind of arises in my mind.
Well, what's really interesting in the textbook that, Understanding Generalist Practice, the 8th edition, on page 25, there was a similar scenario that we talked about earlier, you guys. And it reads that in the Code of Ethics, it states that when you're in a pickle, Ron and I mentioned earlier, when it's a privacy issue, a confidentiality issue, and the safety of others, at the end of it all, we are to use the code states we have to use our ethical judgment. So that's the toughy one, because the new revised Code of Ethics, it says in 1.07, privacy and confidentiality, it reads, social workers should protect the confidentiality of all information obtained in the course of professional service, except for compelling professional reasons. The general expectation that social workers will keep information confidential does not apply when disclosure is necessary to prevent serious, foreseeable, and imminent harm to a client or others. Now, the revised Code of Conduct. Did I say that right? Well, the revised Code of Conduct, it mentioned others. And so my question is the girlfriend a family member? do like that? That's what I'm wondering. Because it says family member in the scenario.
Well, I mean, if you look, excuse me, if you look at this from a domestic violence standpoint, if there was domestic violence going on, she would be considered a family member. But in this case, I think she'd be probably considered another.
Because I thought legally, you can't, I mean, when you're in a relationship, I think if you're in a domestic relationship, it's like 10 years or something like that before they are considered like your spouse.
Yeah, that, but you know, if like, say like you're in a relationship and, you know, there's domestic violence going on, when you file a restraining order, it's actually in the family courts, and it has to do with significant other. So girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. So that's where she's considered kind of quasi family, I guess is the best way to put it, because it's significant other.
Well, and listen to this. On page 25, it says, when ethical conceptions are more important, we are to respect the privacy compliance with agency policy or the general welfare of society and the well-being of other people. Which one comes first? It says, as a social worker, we cannot fulfill our responsibilities, so we must do what's in our best ethical judgment. So it's almost like we get a freebie. Sounds like it,
right?
But we have to.
That would be.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that would be basically that this situation, goes under danger to others. So by him having HIV and that he's sleeping with multiple women, including the girlfriend, he's putting himself at risk, but he's also putting others at risk. So that's where basically we have the ability to contact authorities and make sure that, that they're aware of, the situation that he's sleeping with others and he has HIV.
But what's interesting, and Chris and Chiama, I don't know what you guys think about this, because at the end of the day, we have to decide what we're going to do. And I can be an advocate for this individual and say, you know what, we are going to respect his privacy, because I think that's the most ethical thing to do. But then Chris and Chiama and you, Ron, can say, no, I think the most ethical thing to do here is to let the victim know. So how does that work? Is it like 2 against 2? Like, is it like rock, paper, scissors?
No, but I said just contact the authorities, and they can just, they can, that's kind of HIPAA, they can like really expose his medical records like that, but like just like let the authorities know that like, he is endangering somebody else sexually, knowing that he have it without putting his business out like that,
I think in this scenario, definitely, regardless of what decision is ultimately reached, I think we would definitely need to do like what we're doing now, discuss all these different points and perspectives, and absolutely like seek supervision, right? Possibly
that's right.
People that have been in a similar experience,
yeah,
and kind of see their guidelines, and then to have all that documented. So that way, if there was any sort of potential like legal ramification or ethical issue, we would be able to at least support our decision making, right? And kind of show the logic behind it.
So it's like we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, because
exactly.
If we're a group of 4 and two of us think that we should respect the privacy and the other 2 think that we should let the victims know, then we're in a pickle, we're in a bind. And at that point, we talk to a supervisor, say, listen, this is okay.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, all right, Professor, hopefully we did our job. Bye.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, just go ahead and email